my pop was about ECE students and rates of improvement, looking at Ames Web data. What I was trying to do is talk to teachers and get teachers with regular ed teachers, ECE teachers, to combine with our regular ed teachers and get them to also own these kids and watch their growth over time. As you can see, in February and March didn't meet as much with them. Those were just small meetings with groups of teachers. In April, I got to get with the whole group. And one of the things that desired benefits for this whole thing was that we wanted to see some teacher leaders step up and kind of lead this process. And Emily Campanelle did that and really did a good job of helping teachers see what they were needing to do. The other part is with the ECE teachers and looking at strategies. We wanted them to share those strategies with regular ed teachers to help our ECE students grow. And I have some data that I'm going to share about just that in a minute. But just looking at the data from April, positive rates of improvement, I think again it goes back to the focus and the number of times that we talk about and focus on things, how that kind of translates into student growth. If you're showing that other sheet there, Ryan, how I kind of got my data, or the groups that I used. I had, out of the 24 kids that we were monitoring, 16 to 18 of them were near or above where they had started and towards the target. And then we had 4 that were still below, and we had 2 that moved out completely that were no longer around. But then I went one step further with this, I went and looked at all their grades to see how it was transitioning into the classroom and their grades on their grade cards. So when I looked at reading and math, well, of course, math is pretty simple. I go look at their math score. But if it said reading up there, I'd look at social studies and English just to see what they were doing in those classes. What I found out is that where it said reading and I look at their English score, if they had support in that classroom, their grade was a C or better, or a D or better, because there were a couple of Ds. But in some of the classes like social studies where they didn't have support, there were a couple of Fs. So what I got from it is that we need, and I took this was this morning that we just saw. It said provide more resources for at-risk students, more than others. One of the things we need to do is we need to train our regular ed teachers to use more strategies, because we don't have collab teachers in there all the time. And they need that support. They need to know what strategies to use in order to get the same results that we're getting in the collab classes of English. So when I looked at that, it was kind of eye-opening and looking at grades. But overall grades, I mean, the kids were performing pretty well in our math. They had C's or better. There was only, out of the 24 kids that we started with, there was only 1 F or 2 Fs, and those were both in social studies, and that student had a reading goal on their IEP. So that tells me that our regular ed teachers need to be more aware of what's on those IEPs and the strategies to use with those kids. So in our progress proficiency meeting, Dr. Nolf stated that this POP needs to continue. So hopefully I'm going to pass this off to somebody to work with them next year and kind of do the same things with our ECE folks, because I think it shows an impact of if we focus on it and we try to bridge that gap. That is my POP.